Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. Very important update when it comes to November 1st SNAP benefits. Map shows state suing Trump administration over SNAP benefits. All right, so these are very important updates that's coming out today, October 29, 2025. Tens of millions of Americans prepare for an imminent disruption in federal food assistance. A coalition of U.S. state officials have filed a lawsuit against Trump administration over the suspension of SNAP benefits due to the ongoing government shutdown. Even though Chuck Schumer shut it down for the 13th time yesterday, they're still blaming Trump. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. I want to show you something really quick here. Now, this is coming out from the White House Twitter page. The 13th shutdown vote. Now, you guys know the 13th, well, that's basically Chuck Schumer shut it down yesterday. The 13th time. Now, Chuck Schumer would have opened the gov and everybody would have been happy. You know, again, a lot of people would have received their benefits. But Chuck Schumer shut it down for the 13th time. And Trump is being sued. So on the night of the 13th vote, the nightmare continued. Democrat shut down. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. These are very important updates. Around 42 million Americans nationwide collect SNAP benefits, which are issued to low and no income households to help them pay for food. Now, the SNAP has intensified pressure on Congress to resolve the federal gov shutdown, which began on October 1st by bypassing a spending package. Now, Democrats have said they will not support a short-term funding bill unless it includes an extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidized. So in other words, Democrats, they don't want to negotiate with the Republican unless they take care of the illegals. All right, you know, illegals is receiving food stamp and free health care. All right, so Donald is saying no, absolutely not. It ends here. All right, we think about Americans, we're not thinking about them. So again, Chuck Schumer is shutting down the gov because of that reason. As the gov shutdown continues, the Trump administration announced last week that federal food aid will not be distributed on November 1st after the USDA chose not to use about $5 billion in contingency funds to keep the food stamp benefits payable. This $5 billion here was meant for catastrophic event, not human errors. What's going on right now between the Democrats and Republicans is a human error. They can't come to a certain agreement. So this $5 billion was meant for hurricane disaster, wildfire, earthquake, floods. We cannot take this fund away from that and just feed 42 million people. It just doesn't work that way. What needs to happen is Republicans and Democrats, they need to come together and figure something out. But you cannot use the backup emergency funds that goes to, to victims who face like hurricanes and stuff like that. I mean, look at Jamaica. They got hit. All right. So they're going to be asking for help. And we need to help certain islands out there in the Caribbean. It says here what to know. Well, altogether, 24 states and the District of Columbia have signed on to the legal action. Attorney General of Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin, and the District of Columbia, as well as the governor of Kansas, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the states suing Trump administration. 99% of them are Democrat states. Go figure. All right, so it says here, the states suing Trump administration over SNAP benefits lapse. Now, shutting off SNAP benefits would cause deterioration of public health and well-being, state official wrote in the lawsuit. Ultimately, the states will bear costs associated with many of these harms. The loss of SNAP benefits leads to food insecurity, hunger, and malnutrition, which are associated with numerous negative health outcomes in young ones, such as poor concentration, decreased conjunctive function, fatigue, depression, and behavioral problems. So there are people out there that truly need it. All right, there are people out there that truly need these assistance program. Okay, now, but there's a lot of people out there that take advantage of it. People, again, like 18 years old, young kid that's going to the gym that could lift 80 pounds and stuff like that, and taking advantage of the system is just completely wrong. You shouldn't do that because you're taking away from those who truly, truly need it. All right, so SNAP contingencies funds. SNAP is a mandatory program, but it relies on federal appropriations for its funding. Because these funds have not been released amid the ongoing gov shutdown, the USDA has said benefits cannot be distributed. So what's next? Well, again, there's still time. There's still time for the Democrats and Republicans to figure something out. I mean, they got to stop playing games. All right. I do believe at the very last minute, before midnight on October 31st, 2025, there's a possibility there's going to be some kind of agreement. All right. And they do this type of stuff all the time. See, right now they're playing who blinks first, or, chicken and stuff like that, So Chuck Schumer is hoping for Donald Trump to not bluff, but to fold. All right. Again, Trump is not gonna fold. Trump is not gonna, bow down. Trump said he's gonna continue this thing as long as it can. Now, Chuck Schumer is the one that's holding the sleeping giant citizen hostage. He shut down the gov yesterday. The USDA does have emergency funds available when regular funding channels are not approved. However, in a memo reviewed by Newsweek, the USDA explained that the $5 billion in contingency funds cannot be used to pay SNAP benefits because SNAP contingency funds are only available to supplement regular monthly benefits when amounts have been appropriated, for noting the funds are designated for programs that provide assistance during disaster. Do you hear that? Now, all those states that is suing the Trump administration, you guys are going to fail. You guys are going to lose that case because the funds were not meant to feed 42 million. The funds were meant for natural disaster events. Okay, what's going on is not a disaster. It's a human error. And Chuck Schumer failed. He would have opened up, again, the gov, but he shut it down. Now, the court is going to laugh at him and say, you had a chance to open it, dude. So what's the point of coming to courts? You're wasting time. And that's the thing. They spend a lot of money on court fees and stuff like that. They've been doing it. They sued Trump many, many times, and, they lost the case. Now, I'm not trying to back Trump here. All I'm saying is, you guys already know, Democrats with Russia, all them cases or lawsuits, even Attorney General Letitia James. I mean, you see how much money was poured in to go after this man? So, and again, they keep losing and losing. The department also warned that using the contingency fund would deplete resources for other food assistance programs, including the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. Now, the National School Lunch Program and various child nutrition programs. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. All right, so continue to hold out for the far left wing of the party, or reopen the gov so mothers, young ones, and the most vulnerable among us can receive timely WIC and SNAP allotments. Now, what people are saying, New York Attorney General, here we go, I just mentioned her name, Letitia James, said millions of Americans are about to go hungry because the federal gov has chosen to withhold food assistance. Woman, you are an attorney general. All right. You know that Chuck Schumer shut it down, right? You know that, right? But anyway, Letitia James, you've been indicted. All right. You was caught with mortgage fraud and all that type of stuff. All right. You're acting like this Miss Perfect. You're going to have to face all this court stuff. All right, so once again, SNAP is one of our nation's most effective tools to fight hunger. Yes, and I agree. But Chuck, shut it down, Letitia. And the USDA has the money to keep it running. No, they don't have the money. They do have the emergency disaster money that was not meant to feed people, but was meant to help those that are facing catastrophic events like hurricane, wildfire, earthquake, flooding, you name it. There is no excuse for this administration to abandon family. They're not abandoning family. The one who abandoned family was Chuck Schumer. All right, so once again, rely on SNAP or food stamps as a lifeline. The federal gov must do its job to protect families. No, Chuck Schumer needs to do his job and stop shutting down the gov. Good gosh, guys, if I were running for politics, I mean, I put these people in a place. I guarantee these people don't know how to play the game of chess. This is why you have those other countries just taking advantage of us for many decades, because we have these Looney Tunes that have no idea what they're saying or how to run the country. New Mexico Gov, Michelle said, the federal gov refusal to pay for SNAP benefits in November is unconscionable, and the absurdity doesn't end there. For New Mexico, that's 460,000 people. In our state, 21% of our population, the highest participation rate in the nation. The federal gov has abandoned its responsibility to feed the families. Oh. Let me just bring this up really quick, guys. I have to bring this up. All right, let's do this one more time. Letitia James and all you Democrats, this is coming out from the White House. And they said this, on the night of the 13th vote, the nightmare continued. Democrat shut down. Chuck. The Dems keep the government shut down. Letitia James, do you understand? Comprende? Entiende? Do you want me to speak in other language? And that's where we are right now, guys. That is where we at right now. So what happens next? Unless the lawsuit is successful or standalone legislation is enacted, November SNAP benefits will not be paid until the government reopens. Chucky, why you keep shutting down the gov? Why, Chuck? People need to eat. It doesn't make any sense that you have a Democrat shutting down the gov and Trump is getting sued for the shutdown. Is this where we at? Is this our greatest country in the world that all of a sudden, don't know was, again, to them is, what's bad is good, what's good is bad. They just don't see the truth no more. I just feel like God has given up many people to a reprobate mind, a debased mind. They don't know the truth. They don't see the truth anymore. They become fools. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And next time later, peace.